don't need to do that anymore because you already know the sound. Oh, look, that chair emptied out. Looks like there's no one there. But actually, there's someone right here. His name is Tony. It's true. You think he's lying, but guess what? He's flying because his name is on his shirt, though, too. I rhyme two with two because I'm not a rapper. I am an adapter. But I stole that lyric from a different rapper that was from the 90s who was pretty popular. I can't remember who it was, but I know it's true that I'm running out of things to rhyme with, like Zendaya from Euphoria, Rue. I'm stressing for time because I don't know what to say. While I clip this curtain every day because I need to get paid. When you say because too much in the song, it doesn't sound very cool. So let's get on with the show and take y'all asses to school. What up, no? Welcome back to Popcorn Poppin' Live, your ultimate movie, TV, and streaming guide. There's too much content in the world, and you can't be wasting your time. So let me waste my time for you by watching all that looks vaguely interesting in everything cinema and letting you know what's poppin' and what ain't. How y'all feeling out there? July 4th weekend is upon us, and we got some stuff to talk about. Now, I didn't see the biggest movie that came out Actually, I did see the biggest movie that came out last weekend, and I'm kind of surprised that was the biggest movie. And by that, I mean Megan 2.0. I didn't see Megan 2.0, but we'll talk a little bit about that and why I didn't see it. We'll also be talking about the newest film that's out right now, F1 the Movie, starring Brad Pitt and Damson Idris. We'll also be talking about the newest premiere of shows like The Bears Season 4 premiere and Squid Game 3, the final season, along with the premiere of Apple TV Plus's Smoke, amongst other little projects as well. We'll also discuss new projects coming out this week, where to watch them, and give them some poppin' projections as well. But first, let's talk about the latest news from Tinseltown. And as always, I'd like to thank Variety, Deadline, Vibe, Billboard, THR, Yo Mama for all the reviews and everything that I go through. All the news that I get is from these sites. And also, please be sure to know that reviews and opinions are that of me, the Popcorn Poppy. And I could be wrong about absolutely everything. But guess what? It's just an opinion show. If you don't like it, go see it yourself and tell me why you don't like it. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that like button. And make sure you share with your friends. Because otherwise, I'm talking to a room full of no one. And I want to talk to more than no one. Because I'm tired of talking to myself. Although I get people tuning in. So for all the people that do, I really appreciate it. Also, I feel like most of the people that watch this through Facebook and YouTube. And I get a lot of strangers interactions on TikTok. I don't like TikTok, but I'm going to be the guy to be like, get on my TikTok, like and subscribe. But the followers are kind of low there. So please tell your friends to just give me a little follow or whatever they call it. Like a little like, you know? Yeah. That way you can see the fun clips from this long-ass show. Speaking of this long-ass show, let's go ahead and just dive right in. Denis Villeneuve is going to be directing the new James Bond picture. We haven't heard really shit about this new movie, except that the people that owned the rights have given them all over to Amazon Prime. And that was making people a little skeptical about what they were going to do with the franchise, specifically with like spin-offs and whatnot, to really like milk the shit out of everything from James Bond and make it a lot less James Bond than it used to be. But this seems to be in the right direction. I do have some criticism about it. If you don't know the name Denis Villeneuve, it's probably because I'm mispronouncing it and you're waiting for me to say his name correctly. That's not going to happen because I don't know how to read or pronounce things good. He directed The Dunes, Blade Runner 2049, Sicario, Arrival, and Prisoners, amongst others. He's an excellent director, one of the best directors ever, for sure. He is a grand scale director. And he has said before, I was raised with James Bond. I love James Bond movies. I would love to do a James Bond movie one day. Action is very cinematic, he said in 2015. I'm not someone that loves dialogue. I'm someone that loves movement, action. If it's done, well done, it can be very poetic and meaningful. When you do watch his films, there's not much dialogue. And it is, when it comes to good cinema, and not all good cinema, like Kevin Smith he's still a good writer. He's still good with words. It's just his movies aren't as great anymore. But when it comes to great dialogue that can make a great film, like Clerks or Mallrats or Chasing Amy, my favorite Kevin Smith film. So dialogue can be very essential to the film that you're watching, and you might like the dialogue more than what you're actually seeing. But what makes great cinema, for the most part, besides something like a Kevin Smith film, is showing is better than telling. And this guy is the master of showing. There are some times where you're like, what the hell's going on? Especially like the film Enemy, but which you should watch. It's really fucking weird. It has Jake Gyllenhaal playing two different parts. It's a little slow, and it does make you go, I don't know what this is, but I think I understood it, and it was very good. In any case, this guy is more about showing than telling. And I think that's kind of cool because with James Bond is a secret agent. So he's doing some like detectiving every once in a while amongst kicking some ass and using some gadgets. Having said that, Denis is usually big box office and like science fiction and Dune, or Blade Runner 2049, a lot of slow scenes. And this this job of directing is reminding me of them giving Sam Mendes Skyfall, and I can't remember what the other film was. He did like 2 or 3 James Bond movies with Daniel Craig. I love Daniel Craig. I think he's an excellent James Bond. He might be my favorite James Bond. And Sam Mendes is one of my favorite directors, but he didn't really fit when it came to directing these. A lot of people love those films, so I could be talking out of my ass, but I was like, yo, you need more like fun and action-y. But it's a lot of like slow scenes, a lot of delving into James Bond's past. I personally don't want that in a James Bond film. I want James Bond using gadgets and trying to bang women and drinking martinis, shaken not stirred, or McKellen. I can't remember any other James Bondisms, but I think you know what I'm getting at. Denis is an excellent director, though. I think he'll make it work. It's just I don't want like a Marvel director to do this. I'm not saying that. It doesn't have to be that fun, but this seems like you're going for like more of an artsy James Bond, and we already had an artsy James Bond with Sam Mendes. Having said that, I trust the guy. He has not failed me yet, to be honest. Dune was really thick when it came to science fiction, but it was still thick enough to make me feel good. Pause. You can watch Sicario on Netflix. You can also watch Prisoners by renting it. You can watch The Dunes on HBO Max. 2 is also on Netflix as well. And check out Blade Runner 2049. I think it's one of the best films ever made. But you have to make sure you watch Blade Runner 1 first. And also, I don't fully understand Blade Runner 2049 because they show characters like Jared Leto is like the main villain, but he's in like 3 scenes and they never go back to him at the end of the film. They kind of like make you wait to see if there's a Blade Runner 3, and they never made it. But it's okay. They didn't need to. So check those films out in case you're interested in seeing what the new James Bond director is going to do with 007. Social Network Part 2 is going to be written and directed by Aaron Sorkin. That's what insiders are saying. While it's being called Part 2, it's not a straight sequel, but rather a follow-up to the original movie that explored the origins of what would become the world's biggest social media platform. The director, Aaron Sorkin, is most famously a writer who did West Wing, The Newsroom, but he also directed a few movies of his as well, like Molly's Game, which you can rent right now, Trial of the Chicago 7, which is on Netflix, and Being the Ricardos with Javier Bardem and Nicole Kidman, which you can watch on Amazon Prime, which was a bit better than I thought it was going to be honest. I'm not as excited. I think his direction's okay. It's just David Fincher did the first one. I'm much more interested in that. And I do see why they can make a follow-up movie because a lot of shit's happened between now and the end of the Social Network Part 1. So I'm interested. There's no news on casting or anything. We don't even know if Jesse Eisenberg's coming back. I don't see why not. But I think this is an interesting thing. This is a lot less of Hollywood's just making sequels, bro. Well, this is based on a true story, and we really only got the first half of it. Let's see what the second half of it is. And also, it would be really sick if they got Andrew Garfield back, but I haven't heard anything about that guy since Social Network, the movie. Anyways, More Batman news. More Batman news. I know you guys love talking about Batman. I know you all love agreeing with me. But guess what? The Batman 2 script is signed, sealed, delivered, but not totally greenlit. Matt Reeves finished it with his writing partner. I'm excited. I know you ain't. And I had a lot of people talk about different. Thank you for commenting, by the way. I had a lot of people bring up things that they wanted to see. And it was a lot of things I honestly have never heard of. I'm going to see if I can go to the video right now and talk about it a bit. But basically, there are things from comic books that I was not fully aware of. And the reason I don't have it written down is I didn't know I was going to get this far into it, but I might as well. There was one where a bunch of people had really good suggestions. So this is what you guys said you wanted to see in the new Batman or any other Batman down the line. Jaraki. I want a fundamentally different perspective on Batman than what he has in his mind. I think he doesn't get Batman in total. I think every writer director that has done Batman gets aspects, but not the whole. I kind of concur. Someone I know, Blaze Maxwell, has said he wants a film from the villain's perspective as the protagonist and the antagonist is Batman, the villain. I'm like, that's a pretty cool idea. I don't care. I just want to see a live action Bat Family movie. A few people said they wanted the Bat Family in that, which would be sick. Every Batman movie lacked enough villains. Let's make a Batman movie where there's more than one mediocre villain. I kind of agree. I do think Batman Returns had a pretty good selection. Dark Knight Rises had a few, but I see what you mean, though. I just don't want them to overdo it like they did with The Amazing Spider Man 2. Mr. Freeze and Penguin. Definitely Mr. Freeze. I doubt that will happen in the next Robert Pattinson film. And someone liked that they're doing Clayface. And so the ones I hadn't heard of, Court of Owls, which is part of the comic books. Obviously, we've never seen Court of Owls in live action, so I'm kind of interested in that. Also in the comics, something called White Knight. So much of that series, make the Reeves series build up to that. We got year one-ish from the first movie, jump 5 to 8 years for the next, give him Lil Dick Grayson learning to be Robin, fighting Freeze and Two-Face. That sounds like a solid like build up. If I knew a little bit more about White Knight, I would totally agree, but I don't know much about it. But also, a lot of people mentioned that they want Robin. So I'm hearing that you guys want more of the Bat family and you want Robin. Specifically, I want to see Robin right now so we can get Nightwing a little bit down the line. And by Nightwing, I mean live action Nightwing. So thank you for saying that. If there's anything else you'd like to see from a future Batman movie, make sure to comment and let me know. And let me know if you're at least a little interested to see what's going to happen with the second script. James Gunn has not greenlit the project, but the script is finished. So let's see what happens. Speaking of Batman, remember the most famous Joker of all? I'm not talking about Heath Ledger or Jack Nicholson. I'm talking about Luke Skywalker himself, Mark Hamill, who recently revealed that he had an idea for Luke in The Last Jedi that was turned down. He said, I thought, what could make someone give up devotion to what is basically a religious entity? To give up being a Jedi? Well, the love of a woman. So he falls in love with the woman. He gives up being a Jedi. They have a child together. At some point, the child, as a toddler, picks up an unintended lightsaber, pushes the button, and is killed instantly. The wife is so full of grief, she kills herself. That's dark, Luke, especially for fucking Disney. I think that that's an interesting take. However, I don't buy that the son would, and I get it. This is just an idea that he came up with. So I'm not like, that bad idea, Mark. But I don't buy that Luke would leave his lightsaber just sitting around, you know? So it would have to be, you'd have to construct a more plausible reasoning of how that kid found the lightsaber. But I like the idea of his Jedi past is the reason that his kid accidentally died and the wife killed herself. I don't like that. Like, yeah, I love that for Luke, but I like that setup for why he's so depressed. You can watch all the Star Wars on Disney Plus and be wondering. I'm wondering if I'm going to like Last Jedi as much now as I did then, which wasn't much. But, you know, I went through like all the animated series, all the spinoffs and all of that. And I love Star Wars a lot more now than I did when I first watched Last Jedi. So I'm curious if it'll interpret any better after watching all those. I'm kind of excited to rewatch it. But, you know, you got to watch like 4 movies beforehand. Speaking of other sequels, Vin Diesel talked a little bit about what we're going to be expecting from Fast and Furious 11, releasing in April 2027, according to Vin Diesel, at Fuel Fest, which I'm guessing is a Fast and Furious festival or just a car festival that he showed up to. He said 3 things. The franchise will be heading back to LA. There's going to be a return to car culture street racing, which he has said before. I don't like this part. He said that Brian O'Connor will return and reunite with Dom. I think what you guys did before was just fine. I do see why it's like, look, if you're going to have Jordana Brewster's character in the films talking about like, oh, Brian's back home with the kid, you're kind of like, it's kind of weird that you guys just keep talking about him and like, he couldn't make it because of this. But I don't want to have cinema re-engage with bringing dead people on the screen. For instance, Carrie Fisher flying in space like Mary Poppins. Granted, she did have a lot of scenes that she did record before her passing that they were able to use to close out that final trilogy. I would just rather leave the dead alone. You know, just say through dialogue where Brian is. That's what I would prefer. I think people really miss Paul Walker, and of course they want to see him again. But to see him through like the AI shit, I don't know. I'm not for it. I'm sure there is a tasteful way you guys can do it, but you guys just nailed Furious 7 and his send-off. You guys did an excellent job with that. Let's just leave the door closed. And if you are going to reopen it, just do a peek like him, like at the very end, like, wow, what a wild final ride. That was so great. Family's amazing. Now that I lay in my deathbed. Letty, I love you. The Rock, we cool now. And Brian O'Connor. Yeah, Dom? I love you, bro. I love you. And then that's it. Just do that if you're going to do it. Do you want to see Brian O'Connor, dead Paul Walker, show up in Fast X 2? Let me know in the comments. But if you're curious to watch Fast X Part 1, you can get a Starz subscription because that's where it be. Moving on a little bit to television, Bert Kreischer is going to get his own TV show called Free Bert. It's about a shirtless comedian, party legend, and perpetual wild card, Bert Kreischer. So he's playing an exaggerated version of himself that probably won't be that exaggerated. He finds himself in uncharted territory when his daughters are accepted to an elite Beverly Hills private school. When his unbridled antics turn his family into outcasts, he decides to put on a shirt and stifle his true nature to better fit in. His comedy is very funny. I do like his podcast, even though he interrupts people incessantly. I think that this could be very good as long as we get different writers or directors from The Machine. I didn't hate The Machine, but it could have been better. That was a film that he was in. Having said that, yeah, this could be fun. Let's do it up. And you got to have Tom Segura in it. Speaking of Tom Segura, he's going to be doing his own film since he already did first season of his television show. But the film is going to be called El Tigre. It's entering into production in New Mexico this summer, and it follows Jeff, played by Tom Segura, and his friends as they head down to Mexico, only to discover the hard way that Jeff is a dead ringer for the infamous cartel leader El Tigre, who's gone missing. After being captured by rivals and then rescued by El Tigre's forces, Jeff has to pretend to be their ruthless leader until he can find his friends and a way home. Very funny plot. I think Tom Segura can nail it. We saw some of his acting skills in Bad Thoughts. I think he's better as playing a outrageous character than he does as a straight man, to be honest. But I think he can do very well with it. So I'm pretty excited about that. You can watch the first season of Bad Thoughts on Netflix right now with season 2 on the way. Other comedian entering cinema news, along with rapper 50 Cent. I almost said Jay-Z, but that's not Jay-Z. In fact, I'm pretty sure they hate each other. 50 Cent is going to be playing Balrog. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing these names. I'm not a Street Fighter guy. I'm just not. All right. And I gesture with my hands so much, you're probably wondering why. It's because I only got this little circle, and I think it'd just be weird if I'd be static like this all the time. So that's why I do this, and that's why I do that. That's why I'm so theatrical. Also, I'm a theater kid, but still. Robot. Street Fighter cast 50 Cent as Balrog and Andrew Schultz as Dan Hibiki. Unofficially. They did cast them in the Street Fighter film, but they haven't said, like, officially, Schultz is playing this and 50 is playing this. You can watch I haven't watched any of the Street Fighter films because, again, I didn't really play the video games, but there are 3 of them. The first one was with Jean-Claude Van Damme, which you can watch on Tubi right now. I hear it's deliciously terrible, so I'm kind of interested. And the second one is an animated film, Street Fighter 2, which you can watch on Pluto and Amazon Prime. It's actually rated pretty high online, so I'm kind of interested in that too. I just wish I knew more of the Street Fighter culture. But there's also one final live action adaptation that they did called Street Fighter: The Legend of Chun-Li, which you can rent. I vaguely remember that coming out and bombing at the box office. It starred Kristen Kruk, the Lana Lang from Smallville. Maybe it's good. It's not rated very well though. Anyways. Oh, some director news. All right. Long time ago, I bet 2 of my best friends at the time anyway, Blaze Simpson and Joseph Hardy, that I was going to finish The Stand one day. And I have not finished that book because it's thick, baby. Also, it's like the uncut version. It's my grandpa's favorite book, he said at the time. And I really wanted to finish it. And it's good, but it's so fucking... I'm used to Stephen King now after reading all the Dark Tower series, and I haven't picked up The Stand yet, but I'm a really slow reader. It's a thick book, and they've made this a TV movie before, but they've definitely made a TV miniseries before. Both weren't rated that well, but they're going to take another crack at one motion picture, which I hope that they do more, because this book is thick, baby. Thick. With a THICC, but with Doug Liman behind the camera. But with Doug Liman behind the camera to direct The Stand, a theatrical adaptation of Stephen King's New York Times bestseller for Paramount Pictures, maybe it will be great. But if you don't know his work, you should check out his first film, Go. Excellent film. 3 different perspectives of one day, starring Sarah Polley, Taye Diggs, and Timothy Oliphant. Really, really dope film. You can watch that. It's called Go. You can watch that on Pluto. Very well made. There's also Mr. and Mrs. Smith, which you can rent right now. The movie. The TV show I recommend watching on Amazon Prime with Donald Glover and Maya Erskine. But the movie you should watch first by renting. He also directed Edge of Tomorrow, which is my favorite of his, with Tom Cruise. Excellent Groundhog's Day film that you can watch on Hulu. And he directed The First Born Identity. And now he's set to direct The Stand. Hopefully that will be dope. Will I finish the book before then? Challenge accepted. Also, we got Paul Dano that's going to be working behind the scenes on his new film. So you remember this movie, Everything Everywhere All at Once? Well, it was written and directed by the Daniels brothers, who did they're not brothers. They're just called the Daniels. I mean, I don't think they're brothers. They don't look like brothers. But they did also, prior to this, a movie called Swiss Army Man, which starred Paul Dano and Daniel Radcliffe. I don't know if anyone's seen that. It was pretty high rated. I thought there was too much like flatulence. I didn't really like it that much. But a lot of people really enjoyed it, and you can watch it yourself and be the judge yourself. I think you can rent it right now. But they also directed the Turn Down for What music video and Everything Everywhere All at Once. And they won Academy Awards for it. But now they're not writing and directing their next film. They're producing a high-concept original comedy. And there's not much else known about it except Paul Dano is going to be writing and directing. So I'm pretty interested. He has only directed one other thing before. It was with Jake Gyllenhaal and Carey Mulligan called Wildlife. It was like a dramatic romance. I was very interested, but I never seen it, and it was pretty high rated. You can watch it on AMC Plus. But acting wise, he's one of the greats because he was in films like in There Will Be Blood. He was also on The Batman, which you can watch on HBO Max. Little Miss Sunshine is probably what he's most known for. I mean, these days it's probably The Batman, but you can watch that. And The Girl Next Door, great comedy, which had a nerdy co-star, which you can watch on Hulu. But one of my favorite things that he's done that not enough people see, and I bring it up to you every once in a while, is the miniseries Escape at Dannemora, which you can watch on Netflix and Paramount Plus. One of the best miniseries ever. Before people really respected Ben Stiller as a director, like they do right now with Severance, he did Escape at Dannemora. And it's a drama, and it's fucking amazing. Watch it on Netflix. It's about a prison break, a true story of prison break with Paul Dano and Benicio del Toro. Excellent, excellent miniseries. So, are we giving up on Pixar? Well, Pixar thinks that we've been giving up on them, and it's our fault. Interesting take. Elio Misfire could hasten demise of original animation, Wall Street analyst says, but, quote, don't blame film execs, blame the audience. We expect movie studios to react to this clear trend by greenlighting fewer original IP animated films. Don't blame film execs, blame audiences. The issue, of course, is that without new properties, a studio cannot grow its IP portfolio. This could be particularly problematic for Disney, which depends on its animated film, parks, consumer products, flywheel to help drive overall company growth. So I get what they're saying, that they're trying really hard to make original IP, and I think films should try to make original IP. And the fact of the matter is true that audiences tend to go to movie theaters more often if it's a sequel, a reboot, or something that we're already familiar with, because we fear the unknown, which is very, very silly, but it's true. With the internet and like TikTok and all these small video things and us being so directed to our phones, we don't really care for seeing anything in theaters unless it looks big and magical and superhero-esque. But even that, we're losing money on. But you can make good original films again, and I believe that they've made not as great original films. I don't think it's our fault. Granted, no matter how good the movie would have looked and how great the trailer would have been, I do think that people wouldn't they wouldn't be happy with the numbers that they made for the film. But I argue that no one saw this movie because the trailer was fucking awful. Pixar films used to be directed at the entire family, meaning, yeah, it's an animated film that is for the family, and more kids are going to fall in love with it than adults. But adults fell in love with that too. The adults now grew up on Pixar films, and we used to be excited for Pixar in our 20s. Now that we're in our 30s, these films don't look that great anymore. And I'm not saying, hey, make sure adults are involved too, but don't baby the children. You guys are babying the children so much with this trailer. If you don't believe me, watch the official trailer to Elio. I think it's a great storyline, and I was excited when I read the synopsis before the film came out with a trailer. And then I watched the trailer because I was like, oh, well, maybe this will be like fun and they won't reveal too much. And they show what happens in the film from beginning to end, which had decent jokes, but it was cut together strangely. And there was music in the background that made it seem like a TV movie. If I'm wrong, let me know. But if I'm right, tell me I'm onto something. I thought the trailer was the reason no one went to go see this movie. And it has nothing to do with original IP. Granted, if this movie was a remake of something, of course your numbers would have been better. But you would still not get the numbers you want because this trailer sucked. That's your marketing department's fault, not us. Just saying. So I take that personally because I used to love Pixar. So fuck you, executive that says it's our fault. Continue making original IP. Market it better. Market it like you did with Cars 3, where it looked like a serious film. And you're like, yo, this looks intense. I don't hate the Cars movies. I'm just not a big fan of them. But I almost went out and saw Cars 3. Do what you did with Lightyear, where it looks like an adult film that kids are like, wow, this looks cool, even though it looks really intense. This movie doesn't have to look intense, but just don't spoon feed the audience. Pixar is not for toddlers, and that's what the trailers seem to try to do. Pixar should be for everyone. Get everyone to go see this movie, and then your numbers will grow. I spent a lot more time on that story than I thought I would, so I just have strong feelings about. I took a lot of anger when he said blame the audiences. Anyways, now there's something to be angry about. It's women in fucking film. It's fucking women. I hate Kim Kardashian. She can't act, even though she's been in several Ryan Murphy projects. I've never watched her in. I don't watch Ryan Murphy shit, but she's eyed to star in the Bratz movie, which is coming to you from Amazon Studios, MGA Entertainment, and Picture Start Producing. I didn't need to read that. I've never played with dolls or Bratz dolls, but this makes sense to make a Bratz movie. And when I first read this headline, my thought was what most people are saying, like, oh, Kim Kardashian starring in a movie. This seems kind of perfect, no? She has a history of acting. I'm not saying that she is a good actress, and I'm not saying she's bad because I've honestly haven't watched her act. I've seen one of her films, but that was more of a documentary. Having said that, this seems perfect. As long as she really don't need to do like an Oscar-winning performance to play a live-action Bratz person. I just hope they don't try to recreate Barbie too much. I mean, you can take a lot of notes from that, but I think this could work. And I don't know, it's a good test for her. She just became a lawyer, so why not star in your own movie? Take over the world, Kim. I ain't mad at you. Circles is the sequel. Whoop. Oh, well, I guess I'll just skip that story. I'll talk about it next week. The Duffer Brothers, who did Stranger Things with their final season in 3 parts coming out at the end of this year, has their new project set in development, which is based off of the Ron Curry novel, The Savage Noble Death of Babs Dion. And it's going to be written by the author and the writing partner, Joshua Moore. There's really nothing else. So I guess this is a stupid story. If you're interested in Stranger Things and the makers of Stranger Things and you're curious what they're doing next, apparently it's this shit. I don't really know much else about it. Whoopi Goldberg. I remember Whoopi. Well, Whoopi! She's going to be in a multi-episode role on a long-running Italian soap drama called Un Pasto al Sole. In English, I know it's no, that's not what it's called. She said, I know it's a crazy idea. I think it's cool. Conan shows up in a bunch of soap operas. Why not Whoopi? I think it's something different. Why not? She's excited for it, so I'm excited for her. All right, and I think we're getting... Oh, and finally, The Comeback, which was a Lisa Kudrow show that gained like a cult following, and after it ended, I feel like it was pretty popular after the first season, but they're coming back for a 3rd and final season, which a lot of people say it's an excellent show. I actually never watched it, but I do like Lisa Kudrow, but this comeback is coming back, y'all. Pretty cool. All right. Oh, and there's Lilo and Stitch 2 on the way, and big surprise, it made $1 gajillion. Just kidding. It wasn't a big surprise at all. All right. So now we're going to be talking about the newest shows that came back, our Limelight shows. Starting with Squid Game final season. Granted, I did not finish the season. I have 2 episodes left. When I got home, I went straight to bed, even though I wanted to for a nap. Obviously, I'm not still sleeping, but I almost didn't do Popcorn Poppin'. Shout out to Roxy for getting my ass up and telling me to drink an energy drink. Also, one note real quick. I don't drink alcohol. I'm a recovering alcoholic, 4 years sober next month. Whoopi Goldberg. But this makes me feel like I'm having a drink. And it makes me hype, baby. I should finish all of this because it's getting towards my bedtime. Squid Game. I only watched 4 episodes of the newest season. Not a fan. It's their final season. And the season 2 cliffhanger was a person dies in Squid Game. I won't spoil it for you, but I will tell you, you're not going to care too much about who dies. I'm not saying the character was like bad or you disliked him, but we barely knew the guy. It's a guy. Small spoiler. A lot of people die in Squid Game, so shut up. But once this dude died, our protagonist goes, "No, my best friend." And you're watching the show like, dude, I hardly knew this guy. I don't care about this. So when that was the cliffhanger, I'm like, whatever, we'll get past this soon. But no, this really sticks with the protagonist, especially because he tried to put on a riot he tried to do a breakout that didn't work out. That's all I'll say. And a lot of people died in the process, and he feels very guilty about it. But I get it character-wise. Sure, I buy that he's stricken with guilt. But the show is now not fun. And within the first few episodes, a lot of my favorite characters die. And I was bummed. I get that the show is about Squid Game, which is about people killing each other until there's one winner. So we're going to lose a lot of characters. But you guys got rid of everyone that was interesting very quickly. So that is my biggest con with this season. Is it popping? I can't give an official score until the season's over. But I will say, if you're watching this specifically for the Squid Games, the games are dope. I love the games. I want to mention one. I won't say what it is, but if you've seen the marketing for this new season, remember the girl that goes, "Oh, say what?" And she looks red light, green light. The girl that does that, basically the mascot for Squid Game, besides the masked armed people. There is a boy, a robot boy that they've been marketing. And you're like, whoa, what are they going to do with that? That game is one of my favorite games. Excellent idea. And that's the episode I just finished. So besides the Squid Games, I don't really care for the show. I don't care who's going to win. I don't care who's going to die. But I love the Squid Games. It's just when we all first watched the show, I was interested in all the characters. Now, from all the characters that are alive at the point I'm at, which is at episode 5, I don't care about anyone. So if you're looking forward to that, watch it on Netflix, and I'll report back an official rating. But I'll say Poppin' if you like the actual Squid Games. And it's not terrible story development. It's just I don't care about anyone anymore. The Bear Season 4. If you're a fan of Popcorn Poppin', you know that I was not a fan of Season 3. While Season 4 isn't much different, I think that we're getting somewhere a little better, but most of the characters, I'm like 3 or 4 episodes in to this season, and everyone's dealing with the exact same thing as Season 3. Ao's character still hasn't signed that document. Except I will say Lip, I forgot his name on the show. I watched more episodes of The Bear than I did on Shameless, and I still know him as Lip. I don't remember what his name is on the show, but the main guy, the Bear, he's fine. Thank God he has a different perspective on life this season, because he was a huge asshole last season. But it's kind of the same thing, man. Like, not much has changed, except the restaurant might close, and they need to get that star. Otherwise, they're going to shut down the restaurant. So cool that we have a time running again, literally a time clock running. But I don't know. I'm not very thrilled about this new season. I do like one special guest star that they have. I don't want to spoil it for you, even though I don't think most people know who the actress is. But it's the episode that centers around Ao's character. So if you love The Bear, I'm sure you'll love this season, and I'm sure it's going to win a bunch of Emmys. Cinematography-wise and editing-wise, when it comes to the montage scenes, it's A1, but plot-wise, I do not care for this show anymore. The first 2 seasons were dope. You can be the judge yourself by watching the newest season, all of it, on Hulu right now. And the newest show that came out that I did watch is Smoke. I dig this show. I think it's very similar to other shows of Taron Egerton, where they're not exactly polished and they're kind of strange, like pacing wise and character development wise. But Journey Smollett is the reason why I love this show, and their chemistry is really good too. I'm interested to see where it's going. I didn't watch both episodes of this season, but you can watch new episodes on Apple TV Plus Fridays. It's about when an arson investigator begrudgingly teams up with a police detective. The race to stop 2 arsonists ignites a twisted game of secrets and suspicions. Very interesting show, and it is, like a detective show, kind of like Seven. I don't know. But with arsonists. I dig it. I dig it a lot. Check it out yourself on Apple TV Plus. The first 2 episodes anyway, or 3. I can't remember. And finally, the newest show that's out right now that I have not watched, but if you're a Jensen Ackles fan or just a fan of what's Jensen Ackles on again? Not The Outsiders. What the hell is that show called? Supernatural. If you're a Supernatural fan, Jensen Ackles, I'm probably mispronouncing his name, is on a new show called Countdown, which is about an LAPD officer who joins a secret task force to investigate a suspicious murder, but uncovers a sinister plot that requires the team to unite and save millions in the city. Check it out on Prime Wednesdays. It looks pretty good, but it looks a little too procedural for me. It looks very Jack Reacher, but a lot more fun than Jack Reacher. I might try it someday. And I lied. There's one more new show called Nautilus, which is based on 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea that I think looks very good. You can watch the original film on Disney Plus, but if you want to just jump into the sci-fi channel looking AMC show, check it out on AMC Plus right now. All right, we are now into movies that are in theaters right now, which is 2 of them. The first one we'll talk about real quick, which is Megan 2.0. I have zero energy to tell you how upset I was with this movie, with the trailer. Apparently it bombed at the box office, which, you know, I'm sure a lot of people worked very hard on the film. So I'm saying this, I support anyone trying to make a movie. It's a big thing. It's a big deal, you know, especially doing a sequel. Especially, it's cool to do a sequel where you're like, let's do it completely different in a way. But this was a bad idea, at least from the trailer I saw and the plot synopsis that I'm going to read to you right now. 2 years after Megan, a marvel of artificial intelligence, went rogue and embarked on a murderous rampage, its creator, Gemma, has become an advocate for government oversight of AI. Cool so far. Unbeknownst to her, a defense contractor has created a military-grade weapon known as Amelia. No, the ultimate infiltration spy. However, as Amelia's self-awareness increases, yes, it becomes less interested in taking orders. Yes. Hoping to stop Amelia, Gemma decides to resurrect Megan. No. No. Dumb. Stupid. Awful. I hated the marketing of this film. I hated it. I know a lot of people like Megan Thee Stallion had a little video where she's twerking with a bunch of Megans. Ha ha, cute and funny. But Megan's like a 12-year-old girl. What are we doing? What's going on? No, don't do that. But also, no, Megan 2.0 doesn't look like a horror movie. It looks like the weirdest fucking conglomerate of a bunch of movies mashed up together. And to make Megan the hero, I don't dig it. And apparently, I thought that this movie was going to make $1 gajillion. I thought people were really excited for this, but apparently they're not. And I'm not saying I'm glad that it didn't make money, but I'm glad that I wasn't wrong necessarily. But who knows? Maybe they'll make more money soon. Maybe I'll make more money in streaming. Will I watch this when it goes on streaming? Robin's really going to have to sit my ass down and put it on. Because I'm interested in watching it to make fun of it. And I get it's self-aware of how ridiculous it is, which is the only thing that's endearing about it. But it doesn't look good. But you can go be the judge yourself by watching it in theaters right now. Looney Tunes, The Day the Earth Blew Up. That's the newest Looney Tunes movie that is now on HBO Max. I will say it's not popping enough for me to finish. It is a kids movie. I was excited to watch something that was geared towards adults and children, but this seems more for children. Maybe I'm just growing up and I can't watch all kids movies. But, you know, it's like Pixar used to do for adults and kids. But I'm a big Looney Tunes guy. So I might, finish it in the background someday, but I had it on the background setting up this episode, and I was like, this is okay. I'm not really paying attention. But it's cool to see Daffy Duck again. I am excited for Acme versus Coyote, I think it is. I don't know, the live action one that they're doing soon. But you can check it out on HBO Max, especially if you have kids. You can sit them down while you do crack in the bathroom by having them watch it on HBO Max. On Peacock, I forgot that this was out, but The Woman in the Yard with Danielle Deadweiler, directed by Juan Colette Serra, A mysterious woman repeatedly appears in a family's front yard, often delivering chilling warnings and unsettling messages, leaving them to question her identity, motives, and the potential dangers she might pose. This movie looked okay. When I saw the trailer, I was like, I don't want to see this in theaters. But when I found out it was on Peacock, which seems very soon, although it could have came out like months ago and I didn't realize it, I was down. Daniel Deadweiler's from Obi-Wan, The Bear, Piano Lesson, Watchmen TV show, the Netflix film, The Harder They Fall, Till, most famously, and the film Carry On with Taron Egerton, which was directed by this director, Wam Colette Serra, who did Orphan, The Shallows, and Carry On. So the director and the actress makes me interested in the film. Otherwise, the film doesn't look that great, but it could be. So you can check it out yourself on Peacock. And now we're on to our actual spotlight film of the week. F1 the movie. It's that racing movie with Brad Pitt and Damson Idris. I don't have the plot synopsis written down, so I'll just tell you. It's about a has-been racer who was really, really good, went through a race car crash, and didn't race, except only to come back for like some money here and there, but kind of gave up on himself. And then an old friend of his, played by Javier Bardem, brings him back into the mix to be one of the two racers for this company called Apex. And if they don't place in the Formula One racing competition, then they will get rid of the racing team. And so these two don't get along, but maybe they will if they learn to work together. So, what did we think of this movie? Let's go over and say hi to Bucky. Bucky, how you doing? Well, Bucky, what did we think about this racing movie that I am fully aware is a racing movie, that I don't care for racing, but I do care for Damson Idris, and I do care for Brad Pitt, and I do care for the director, Joseph Kosinski, who did Top Gun Maverick. What did I think of this film, a.k.a. Apple TV Plus's biggest movie ever? In theaters, anyway. Oh, that's good. Why old dude Poppin, you may ask? Well, it's because they constantly say, what's this old man doing here? It's fucking Brad Pitt. I get Brad Pitt. You do the math. He's been acting for like 40 years. It's crazy. Because for an old dude, still a handsome dude. It's Brad Pitt. But he does look pretty old. But like, not for, it's still Brad Pitt. But the entire film is like, what are you doing here, old man? Well, better get your cane, old man. You're an old man, old man. Old man. That was very annoying. I know we're supposed to start with pros, but I had to tell you, this movie's 2.5 hours long, which is a negative or a con for this film. It's way too long. There's a lot of shit in it that you don't need. But pros-wise, cinematography and editing should be nominated for Oscars. No lie. Did very, very great job. Again, this director did Top Gun Maverick, so he knows how to do the action scenes very well. He goes from flying to race car driving, and it's just as engaging. And seeing it in the theater was really, really cool as well, especially Dolby. Javier Bardem is very funny in it. Him and Brad Pitt are really good together. It made me want to retry the Counselor film starring them, Cameron Diaz, Michael Fassbender. I hear it's not very good. It's a Ridley Scott film. And I don't know if they did any other films together. I can't think of any that come to mind. But they had very good chemistry in the movie, and I wanted more of that. This actress, Carrie London, may not be a household name, but she was in The Banshees of Inisherin. I'm mispronouncing that, but you know what I'm talking about. It was with Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson. Very great film. She was great in that, too. I think she was nominated for an Academy Award. She's excellent in this film as well. Damson Idris, very good in this, but underutilized and not really fleshed out. He just plays a spunky, young celebrity, and he feels threatened because Brad Pitt is coming in to race well, and he's scared that he's going to like take his job. So they instantly don't like each other, and they fucking bicker throughout the movie. They have really good scenes together. It's a lot of the same bickering. And the con is basically, there's a lot of corny scenes in this. Like, Brad Pitt, get out of here, Brad Pitt. All right, I'm out of here. Good luck in the final race. And spoiler alert, he comes back to do the final race. And when they see him walking down and they play like uplifting music and he waves and they're like, well, I'll be damned. Like, come on. It's 2025. We've seen this scene 1,000 times. Having said all that, very much worth seeing. I would say in the theaters, except for the length. You don't really need to see it in theaters. I changed my mind. The racing scenes are fucking sick, though. The racing scenes alone are worth the film. But is it worth sitting in a theater for 2.5 hours? It was fun, and the audience had fun with the movie. We were definitely all laughing together. But after a while, again, you're kind of laughing at the same thing, and you're realizing this is corny as shit. They keep like doing the same scene over and over again. Oh, a huge pro though is these kind of films where it's like they're a little rocky at first, but soon they'll find their way. They do bad and bad and bad in the beginning. You're like, yo, is this movie about them just failing? But slowly they figure out their shit. And that's pretty cool. And that makes a movie like more, I don't want to use the word endearing again because I already used it once tonight. And that's not the type of word just drop twice in 1 hour. But it makes the movie more interesting when you're like, man, they're losing. And when they win, you're like, yes, fuck, I thought they're going to lose again. Because you're expecting them to win all the time because the movie is supposed to be about them winning, right? So, I guess my takeaways are I wish they would have had Damson Idris's character a little more fleshed out, especially because this is his first big film after Snowfall. And I'm not saying that executives are going to see this movie and say, well, his character was boring. We're not going to cast him in anything else. But I wish they would have gave him a 3-dimensional character like they did with Franklin Saint in Snowfall. It doesn't have to be that like worked on, but just, don't make it just the young spunky kid. Give him a little bit more. And I wish they would have gotten along faster. And I just wish the film was a little shorter. But super dope film. I know it sounded like a lot of cons, but overall, very well made film. I dig it. At the first half of the film, I'm like, I like this more than Top Gun Maverick, but I think I like Top Gun Maverick more. The very biggest similarity between this and Top Gun Maverick, it is basically the same movie, by the way. What are you doing here, old man? You has-been? Oh, I'm a has-been, huh? Is that storyline. Old man comes in, does a bunch of corny scenes. The storyline isn't as strong as what you're going to see it for. Flying in Top Gun Maverick and racing in this. Also, if you're a NASCAR fan or a Formula One fan, you will appreciate this movie more than anyone because Brad Pitt's character isn't just a really, really good and fast driver. He's a smart driver that does tricks in order to make their team place. Tricks that I did not understand, that they tried to explain to you, but it was very hard to follow. Still followed it well enough to enjoy the film. So it is Poppin', and I'm going to give it a medium with butter. I know I give that a lot, but it was above average. I want to give it a large, but there were so many corny scenes that I was eventually rolling my eyes. Having said that, if we're judging on the racing scenes alone or the editing of the montages, I would absolutely give it a large. But all the corny scenes and the not well enough worked on character of Damson Idris, if they would have worked on him more, it would have been a large, but I'm giving it a medium with butter. Let me know what you think of the movie by commenting or just yelling at me in the streets. Or if you haven't seen the movie, watch Top Gun Maverick first, which I believe is on Paramount Plus, just so you can get the feel of what you're going to go see, and then go see F1 the movie in theaters right now. Speaking of Brad Pitt, I decided the topic of this evening was going to be the top 10 Brad Pitt films. I was going to do 8, but I wanted to mention 2 others. Let's go through them pretty quick. Killing Them Softly, which you may not have heard of. It didn't really make that much money, and I don't think it was widely released, but it stars Jackie Coogan. Jackie Coogan? His character's name's Jackie. He's an enforcer hired to restore order after 3 dumb guys rob a mob-protected card game, causing the local criminal economy to collapse. This movie is more of a collection of really, really well-acted scenes. It's not like a riveting action movie, but it does have some really good scenes, but mostly extremely well acted scenes from Ben Middleton, Scoot McNairy, and James Gandolfini and Ray Liotta. So it has a sick squad behind him. James Gandolfini only has 2 or 3 scenes that really have nothing to do with the movie, but they're so fucking good. And Brad Pitt it's a well acted movie and well written dialogue wise. It's just not the most riveting movie in the world, but it's really interesting. It's very different, and he has one of the best monologues in cinema at the end of the movie regarding America. It's pretty dope. You can check this out on Pluto or Tubi. Number 9, Megamind. Megamind! Evil genius Megamind, voiced by Will Ferrell, finally defeats his do-gooder nemesis, Metro Man, but is left without a purpose in a superhero-free world. I only gave this 9, even though I think it would be higher, because to be honest, I don't remember the movie very well. I watched it with my friends in the dorm, probably drunk and high, and not remembering the movie very well. But I was like not interested in it, but a girl was like, "You got to put this movie on. It's great." And we watched it, and I was like, "This movie's fucking awesome." So I'm assuming I loved it. I remember saying Brad Pitt is so funny in this movie. So I got to rewatch Megamind, and you do too by watching it on HBO Max right now. All right, now I can say from here on out, anytime I do a ranking, I am not like married to this is number 8, this is number 7. Number 7 is totally better than number 8. You can rearrange this any way, and I would probably accept it. It's because I'm very difficult when it comes to being like, yes, this is the best movie of them all. I change my mind. It's very I'm scared of commitment when it comes to rankings, but I think you'd be more interested in the original ranking ideas, such as number 8, the Ocean's Trilogy, with 1, yes, probably being the best, but growing up, Ocean's 12 was my favorite. I just think that we all can agree that 13, no. Most people hate 12. I love 12. 12 is awesome. And people like 13 more, but I really like 12. And this is called the top 10 Brad Pitt films and performances because this isn't really a performance of Brad Pitt. This is just Brad Pitt being like cool and Brad Pitty. But I just love the movies so much I had to include them. And it's fun seeing him and George Clooney act together. But I do love these films. You can watch them all on Netflix. Snatch, probably one of my favorite films. It's definitely one of my favorite films. In fact, it might be one of my favorite 7 films. But I put it at number 7 because he's not in it that much. And I've talked about this movie a bunch. It's about basically, it's a multi-canvas storytelling. Unscrupulous boxing promoters, violent bookmakers, a Russian gangster, incompetent amateur robbers, and supposedly Jewish jewelers fight to track down a priceless stolen diamond. Great MacGuffin. Excellent writing and direction from Guy Ritchie, produced by Matthew Vaughn, who did The Kingsman and Layer Cake and something else that I'm forgetting. I talked about this movie a bunch, but I love it. Brad Pitt is hilarious in this. He plays a pikey who you can't understand, but he's hardly in the movie, and it's not necessarily the best performance, but this is one of the best films for sure. You can check this one out on Pluto. Number 6, 7. I know it's weird that I did that, but I do love this movie I probably love this movie way more than the following movies we're going to do on this list. But 7, David Fincher, one of the best directors ever. And it's about 2 detectives with him and Morgan Freeman, a rookie and veteran, hunt a serial killer who uses the 7 deadly sins as his motives. If you love murder mysteries, if you love David Fincher and you haven't seen 7, you've been living under a fucking car that crashed onto a boulder that's in the canyon because 7 is dope. You've heard the term, what's in the box? That's this movie. Find out what's in the box by renting 7 right now. But if you want to do something a little more light that's based on a true story, that's more about dialogue than it is about the actual game of baseball. It is about baseball, but you don't see much baseball in it. I was shocked that I liked this movie because I'm not into sports. I do like baseball, but I just don't keep up on sports. But Moneyball is about the Oakland A's general manager Billy Beane's successful attempt to assemble a baseball team on a lean budget by employing computer-generated analysis to acquire new players co-starring Jonah Hill. Excellent film. Not much else to say about it. I was shocked that I loved this film, but his performance was really good. The Jonah Hill was very good in it too. And it made me very envious of Jonah Hill at the time because he had Wolf of Wall Street come out around then. And it's like, dude, you got to work alongside Leo and Brad Pitt within 2 years, I believe, maybe in the same year. So good on you, Jonah Hill. Good on you. A great movie. Most people, like film nerds, know of this next one, but I don't think like it's the everyday folk that do. But one of his first performances before Brad Pitt became Brad Pitt was in a little movie called 12 Monkeys. It takes place in a future world devastated by disease. A convict played by Bruce Willis is sent back in time to gather information about the man-made virus that wiped out most of the human population on the planet. I don't remember this movie as I remember it pretty well, but I'm wondering how close to real life that it may be. But it was directed by Terry Gilliam, who did Brothers Grimm, Time Bandits, part of Monty Python, and Brazil. Great film. Great back in time movie. But this is number 4 because Brad Pitt's performance is why I put this movie up here. Don't get me wrong, 12 Monkeys is a great film, but Brad Pitt is so wild in this movie. It's very fun. You can rent it right now. And I think that this is people's number 1 Brad Pitt performance, and that's Burn After Reading, the Coen brothers comedy centered around a disc containing mysterious information from a CIA agent that ends up in the hands of 2 unscrupulous and daft gym employees who attempt to sell it, which stars him, Frances McDormand, J.K. Simmons, George Clooney, and John Malkovich. Excellent. It's not one of my favorite Coen Brothers movies, but it is very funny. And he's the funniest part of it. Very shocking scene that happens when him and George Clooney get together on screen. You can check this out on Netflix. He's hilarious. Him alone is worth the movie. The movie in general is fun and whatnot. It's just very random, but I do dig it. He's the best part of it, though. Number 2 is honestly probably the best film out of all of these. And honestly, I should have chose this as number 1, but it's not his most memorable performance. Number 1 will probably be, but this is definitely the best film of this list. The Assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford. Shout out to Nick Kosky that reminded me of this film. He made his own top 10 most important films of the century because the New York Times, I believe, made a list recently, which we might talk about next week because I haven't looked at it yet, but I'm kind of interested. But he added this as like one of the most important movies made of the 20th century, 21st. I don't know. I don't get what the list was. This is a great film. I don't really need to. No, I'll read it. Robert Ford, who has idolized Jesse James since childhood, tries hard to join the resurgent gang of the Missouri Outlaw, but gradually becomes resentful of the bandit leader. This movie absolutely, if it didn't, I don't remember, but if it didn't, it should have won Best Cinematography. It's one of the most beautiful films you ever watch. Acting is excellent. Direction is fantastic. It is a phenomenal film. So well made. Spoiler alert. Jesse James dies at the end. And obviously it's based on a true story. Very well made. I think I dislike Casey Affleck in real life, but I don't love his acting in general, but he is really good in this. But also Sam Rockwell's in it and he's great. So I encourage you to watch The Assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford by renting it right now. And if you haven't seen it, number 1, Fight Club. I would tell you what this is about, but I'm not allowed to. Because the first rule is that you don't talk about Fight Club. And the second rule is you do not talk about Fight Club. But I will say this. Great film. And yeah, fuck it. This is probably his best performance. He's super fun. He's super wild. He's a badass. And great ending. But also great film from front to back. I love this movie. You can watch it on HBO Max and Hulu right now. So that is the top Brad Pitt films. Will the films coming out this week, July 4th weekend, be good as well? What are the films, though? I'm really just stalling until I get to the list. So the news films that are coming out this week are Jurassic World Rebirth, starring Scarlett Johansson and Mahershala Ali. This is the 7th? Yeah, the 7th Jurassic Park / World film. And Poppin or not forecast, I think people will love it. I don't think I'm going to care for it. And I don't think it's their fault, even though, yo, man, y'all are just making them just to make them. I watched the trailer. I wasn't very interested. The director did Rogue One. He did a few other movies. I think that he is very great. He did that John David Washington film, and I can't remember the movie, what it was called. It's the AI movie, whatever. I think that he is an excellent visual director, but his stories are very, very boring to me. Oh, he did Godzilla as well, the one with Bryan Cranston, which after rewatching all the Godzillas, I dug what he did, but he's kind of boring, and he writes a lot of what he directs. I watched the trailer for this. It looks kind of boring to me, but I like ScarJo. If ScarJo wasn't in it, Mahershala Ali would be enough, but from what I saw in the trailer, he's going to only be in it for like 30 minutes, and that might be 30 minutes in the middle of the movie, and I wouldn't be surprised if they killed him off. So poppin' or not, I don't think I'll find it poppin', but I think others will find it poppin'. Hopefully it's good. You can watch all of the Jurassics on Peacock right now. I'm doing a marathon basically, and I'm in the middle of 3, and they're fun. They're fun, but after the Fallen Kingdom, I was like, I'm done with dinosaurs. And I only watched the last one because it was the last one, but who knows? But judging by this picture, I'm not going to like this movie. I'm excited for the trip, but I don't think I'm going to like it. Also in theaters is something that hasn't been advertised at all, called 40 Acres, which has Daniel Deadwyler, who we discussed earlier, in a post-apocalyptic world with food scarcity, probably not pronouncing that word right. A black family of Canadian farmers descended from American Civil War migrants defend their homestead against cannibals trying to seize their resources. It sounds pretty good to me. And this is in theaters Tuesday. I said Friday, but it's actually Tuesday. And coming back to theaters is the original This Is Spinal Tap, the first mockumentary about a band that's going on tour. Part 2 is coming out later this summer. I'm very excited about it. But if you haven't seen this movie, it is very funny. It was directed by Rob Reiner, and it's re-releasing in theaters this week. On streaming, we got The Old Guard 2, the follow-up to, you guessed it, The Old Guard 1, starring Charlize Theron. And I can't remember the actress's name, but she was very good in the first Old Guard. I think this will be popping. I liked The Old Guard a lot more than I thought I would. But when I found out they were making a 2, I'm like, I don't know if I liked it that much. But anything with Charlize Theron, I'm probably going to watch. For your kiddos, you can watch Dora and the Soul Dorado, which is about, I'm not going to say what it's about. It's a Dora the Explorer movie. You can watch it on Paramount Plus. And television-wise, the show I'm not going to watch called Sandman. I didn't watch the first season. I tried a couple episodes. I wasn't really into it, but I know a lot of people like the show. The first volume of the second season will be dropping on Netflix this week, specifically Thursday. So you got a few options on what to watch this week. What am I missing? What do you guys want to see more of that I'm talking about? What do you disagree with? What do you agree with? What do you like? What do you don't like? What do you want to see more of? And are you going to be having a fantastic July 4th weekend? I hope you do. I know I will be, because I like having a day off. And I'm going to have a day off. And I'm going to fucking enjoy it. You enjoy your time off too if you do get to. I'll see you on the couch. I think all we're going to talk about is Jurassic Park next week.